Hi everyone, welcome back. For those who don't know me, my name is Tanya. So today we're going to be making some bagels. So to start, we're going to need 1.5 cups of lukewarm water. To that, I'm going to be adding a tablespoon of brown sugar. You can also use just white sugar if that's what you have, as well as 2 teaspoons of salt. Add a mix. And then to that, I'm going to be adding our quick rise yeast. It's 1 package, which is 2¼ tablespoons. So we're going to give that a stir, and then we're just going to let this sit for a minute to activate. I'm going to show you what the yeast looks like once it's ready. If you don't see bubbles and stuff in your yeast, it's no good. Don't use it. Get new yeast. But I'll show you in a minute what this should look like. So our yeast has been sitting for about 10 minutes. And it's looking good. It's got a nice foam on top. So now we're going to start putting in our flour. So this is going to take about 4 cups of flour. I'm going to put 2 in to start. And then just gradually add the rest as we go. Sometimes you don't need the full amount. It's our 3rd cup. As I always say, it's just easier to get in there with your hands sometimes. You could definitely do this in a stand mixer. Just doing it by hand, I'm gonna have to knead this for about 10 to 15 minutes. I like doing it. It just kind of takes me back to my childhood when I was watching my gran make bread, and I do enjoy kneading bread. I find it very therapeutic, but definitely time saver, put it in your stand mixer. So at this point, I'm gonna put this out onto the counter. Just going to flour that. So we're going to knead this, just adding the flour as we knead it. Like I said, it's going to take about 10 minutes probably to get this nice and smooth and the consistency that we want. If you just bring the flour in from the board and don't add it directly to this, then you don't get an overabundance of flour in your dough. So we've been kneading this for about 10 minutes. Our dough is looking really good. So now we're going to take our bowl. Put a bit of olive oil in there to keep our dough from sticking. And then we're going to cover this and let it sit in a nice warm place for about an hour until this doubles in size. Our dough has now doubled in size, so we're going to dump this out onto our work surface. Just give this a quick knead just to deflate the air bubbles out of it. Depending on the size of bagels you want, will determine how you divide this up. So I don't want huge bagels. So I'm gonna try and get probably 12 out of this. Do it as evenly as possible, so I'm going to divide that in half. and then into 3. And I'll roll those into a ball. The dough shouldn't be sticky, but if it is, just give it your hands a light coat of oil. Now that we've got our 6 balls, I'm going to divide these into 2 and roll them into balls again. So we have our 12 balls of dough ready. So now we're going to start forming the bagel shape. So to shape our bagels, we just take a piece of dough, a little bit harder when you have nails, but just go into the middle and make a hole. And then we're just going to start stretching that dough out. Trying to get it as even as you can. And then I have a pre-oiled cookie sheet with some parchment paper. I'm just going to lay these on there. We have all our bagels formed, so I'm just going to cover these for a few minutes while I get the water ready to go. Bagels are a double cook method, so first we're going to boil them and then we're going to put them into the oven to bake. So our bagels have been resting. We're getting our water ready. It's just at a simmer right now. So to this we're going to be adding a little bit of baking soda, and that's just going to give your bagels that chewy outside, and then a little bit of salt just for flavoring. We're going to pop our bagels into the simmering water, and those will go for about a minute on each side. Once these have cooked for about a minute on each side, we're going to take them out and drain them and just put them on our cookie sheet. You can see how they've plumped up nicely. One side always looks better than the other, so just make sure that side is the one that's facing up. And we're going to continue with the rest of our bagels. So our bagels have all had the first cooking process. Now we're just going to go in with a light egg wash on these. And then at this point, you can season these with whatever you like. My favorite is everything bagel, so that's what I'm going to be using. Once your bagels are seasoned, these are going to go into a preheated 425-degree oven for about 25 minutes. So our bagels are out. They're looking and smelling delicious. They're nice and golden on the top, nice on the bottom. Just gonna cut into one of these. They're very hot. And whatever your preference, butter or cream cheese. So it's really good. It's got that nice chew on the exterior and yet really nice and soft on the inside. Delicious. Much better than store-bought by far. And for the amount of work that goes into it, definitely worth it. I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time.